What's good? What's good? This is Ross with The Rock Never Stops, coming to you with another NBA video. This is the second of a two-part video of my outlook for the 2021-22 NBA season. Teams that are going to be good, but on the outside looking in when it comes to the NBA playoffs next season. This is going to be about the Eastern Conference. In the last video that I did, it was about the Western Conference. So check that out. Let me know what you think. Tell me if you agree. But this one is about the Eastern Conference. Um, so the East, I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be real. The East is so much deeper than the West. So much deeper. Like, not only do they have the NBA champion, Milwaukee Bucks, they also have probably the second and third best team in the league. Looking at Miami, looking at Philly, and all y'all folks out there talking about Ben Simmons this, Ben Simmons that. They had the best record in the league last year. Okay, Ben Simmons folded in the playoffs. They lost in the second round. Got you. It don't mean that they're trash. It don't mean the team's going to be trash. And the team only got better in the offseason. Matisse Thybulle, okay, I can get into that later. But they got probably the top three teams in the NBA. Lakers got a lot to prove with this new roster. I think they're still going to be good, though. But this video is about the teams who are going to be just short of getting into the playoffs. And that means a lot in the Eastern Conference because really, honestly, I feel like the top 8 is locked up. I really feel like it's locked up. There's maybe 9 that I'm like for sure. Barring major injuries, of course, knock on wood. But there's 9 that are going to get into that playoff play-in tournament. I got Boston, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Indiana. I got Atlanta, Miami, Philly. And then this is where it gets a little interesting. I got the Chicago Bulls, Toronto Raptors. The Raptors could, I'm going to be honest with you, could be a lot better than people realize. So let's start this video. The teams in the Eastern Conference that are going to likely be on the outside looking in to next season's NBA playoffs. The first team that I'm going to take a look at here, I'm going to kind of work my way up to the team that's going to be right in the play-in. But the first team that I'm going to talk about here is the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham is coming. He's coming for the NBA. He's coming. Luka Doncic was nice, but Cade plays both sides of the ball. And he's a little bit more selfless, but still has the talent and the skills and the confidence. I also think he's a little bit more athletic than Luka Doncic and comes in with a little better shape. He's already like a vegan, I think, or something like that. He's a vegan or vegetarian, right? Already honed in on caring for his body. You always got to respect that. Coming into the NBA, knowing how to care for your body. But they also got Jeremy Grant. They got Isaiah Stewart. Picked up Kelly Olynyk. I like my man Josh Jackson. He might be the most improved player next year, quiet as kept, or at least in the running. Sadiq Bey, Frank Jackson. They got a team that honestly is one of those sleep on them if you want. But remember, last season they had one of the best records against above 500 teams. They were coming for the above 500 teams. They competed really high. And now you switch out, you bring in Cade Cunningham. I think he's going to be nice. But let's keep moving. The next team I got is the Charlotte Hornets. Mad talented. I love LaMelo Ball. He's going to be nice. Going to be really nice, especially next season. Gordon Hayward is finally going to be healthy. And they were really good when they had Gordon Hayward healthy. You still got scary Terry Rozier. You got Miles Bridges dunking on everybody's head. PJ Washington playing great defense. They got a few other additions on that team, but I'll say the main thing about them is that I just don't think that they're really talented enough to punch their way into the playoffs. But I won't be shocked if they make that play-in. I won't be shocked. Not at all. They may even win a game in the play-in. I wouldn't be shocked. The next team I got is the Philadelphia 76ers. Mad talented. I love LaMelo Ball. He's going to be really nice, especially next season. Gordon Hayward is finally going to be healthy. You still got scary Terry Rozier. You got Miles Bridges dunking on everybody's head. PJ Washington playing great defense. They got a few other additions on that team, but I'll say the main thing about them is that I just don't think that they're really talented enough to punch their way into the playoffs. But I won't be shocked if they make that play-in. I wouldn't be shocked. Not at all. They may even win a game in the play-in. I wouldn't be shocked. is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Folks, the average casual NBA fan looks at the end result at the end of the season. They don't really track how teams do throughout the season. But the Cleveland Cavaliers, when they were healthy at the beginning of the season, they were a top 5 seed in the East. Head coach JB Bickerstaff is nice, is real. He puts guys in the right position to look really good. And Colin Sexton, everybody be trashing on him. I'm like, yo, he averaged 24 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists on high efficiency. High efficiency. And if people want to call him a ball hog, I'm like, well, if you're an efficient ball hog, hey, you know what? More power to you. Maybe it's not you, maybe it's everybody else. All right. I'm not calling him Jordan, but remember when they called Jordan a ball hog? High scoring, efficient player. It's not me. It's not me. Okay. Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, I think the whole squad is going to be nice. Evan Mobley, all them cats. I think they're going to be doing their thing. You know what I mean? And then you still got Jared Allen, finally got the bag. They're going to have a great defense expected. Isaac Okoro, he's going to be nice for them as well. They got a nice solid bench too. Lauri Markkanen, we'll see what he does, but they're going to have a lot of size. They have a lot of size. Arguably, whether they got 3 7-footers in the front court, they're gonna be nice. Watch out for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're gonna be competitive all the way through, all the way through. The next team that we're gonna be looking at, we're gonna take a look at the Washington Wizards. Now, I struggled with the order of this. I was almost gonna say the Knicks next, because if I'm honest with you, Bradley Beal is a better player than Julius Randle. Spencer Dinwiddie's probably a better player if he's healthy than RJ Barrett. So if you got the best 2 players between 2 teams, don't you have the better team? This is like Knicks bias. They always get a little extra love. You know what I mean? Anyways, Washington Wizards. I already mentioned Bradley Beal, Spencer Dinwiddie in this comeback tour. Finally got the bag. Finally going to have a solidified starting position. But this team got so deep over the offseason. They finally got rid of, what's his name? Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks. Finally got rid of him. Yo, I've been saying get rid of him for the longest. Like, he's not a good coach. I'm sorry. For the NBA, he's not a good coach. He's a below average coach for the NBA that has stuck around for far too long. All right? Finally got rid of him. And now they got a coach in there who can at least be able to look at the rest of his team and say, all right, let's try to get these guys going. Let's try to make sure that we maximize the talent we have on this roster. And the talent is as deep as ever. I think Rui Hachimura is going to have a much bigger season next year now that they got Dinwiddie moving the ball around. They don't have Westbrook dominating the ball. And people will be like, oh, he's got all these assists. Not every assist is the same. When you got to pound the ball the whole time and be the one to make the pass every single time, that doesn't let other guys get going. And so I think Rui Hachimura is going to have a great year. Hopefully, eventually, they get back Denny Avdia, who had a really bad ankle injury at the end of last season. Hope he gets well soon and gets back. But they got a lot of guys with a lot to prove. Thomas Bryant's coming off of that ACL injury. They got a lot of guys who are going to be playing hard. Aaron Holiday, too, a lot of them. And so I'm looking forward to them having a big bounce back year for the Washington Wizards. And then, of course, we got our New York Knicks. Everybody love the Knicks. Everybody, all these Knicks fans. I'm going to be real. Like, last season, I rocked with the Knicks. I'm not a big Tom Thibodeau fan. I feel like he's like Mike D'Antoni's alter ego, where he's like, all I do is defense, right? Terrible on offense in terms of coaching. You know what I'm saying? Just the exact opposite. But he got the most out of that team, had them playing, balls to the wall, hard, grinded out every single game with a terrible offense. And then they got in, caught everybody off guard. But then we saw in the playoffs, they weren't really as good as their record suggested. They just played hella hard every game. And if you have a team that plays hella hard every game with a bunch of veterans, you're going to figure out how to win most games, and definitely the games that you're supposed to win against subpar teams. And that's what the Knicks did last year. They maximized that roster to the fullest. and they got a number 4 seed, and they got mollywop. They got smacked by the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, and then they said, "This is what it looks like when you actually have a superstar on your team, leading your team." And that was Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. And they didn't even have Cam Reddish. They didn't even have their full roster available. They didn't have a full season of DeAndre Hunter healthy. It came in there, did work, put them away. All right? Shh, New York Knicks. Shh, this is not your year. You might make the play-in. That's where I got them, between 8 to 10. Actually, more like 9 and 10. Um, but then you also got, and this is where it gets tricky, somewhere between the Toronto Raptors and Chicago Bulls. Now, I like the Bulls. I do. I'm a big Nikola Vucevic fan. I think he's one of those slept on players, one of the most underrated all-stars in the NBA right now, always overlooked, but they don't understand how much this guy does work. Like, he's like a European Tim Duncan. Like, he's not as great on defense, but he's just so methodical. He just gets buckets, hits threes, post game, soft touch, jump hook, up and unders, off the glass, makes free throws at a high percentage, extremely efficient, knows where to be, moves well without the ball, high IQ, always in the right place. And you give him a good point guard to run pick and roll with, like a Lonzo Ball, or you got what's his name, Zach LaVine, or you got DeMar DeRozan. These guys running that pick and roll with him, he's gonna eat. But the problem is, they ain't got no depth. And this is what makes me suspect about the Chicago Bulls. If Nikola Vucevic goes out for even 10 games, I don't think they can survive it. I think they drop 8 out of 10 of those games. Maybe 9. They don't have depth in that front court at all. And so for me, when I see the Bulls, I'm like, you're one injury away from having a bad season. Now, with that said, it's almost the exact opposite for the Toronto Raptors. They're going to be getting healthier as the season goes on. Pascal Siakam's going to start the year out. And I look for Scotty Barnes to be the one who steps in. I don't think Masai Ujiri drafted him that high over Jalen Suggs just to let him sit on the bench, especially when there's an opportunity for him to showcase what he can do. I think he starts at the power forward position. I think he's running with Fred VanVleet, who's going to average about 25 and 5. He's going to have a great year. Maybe, let's say 23 and 5. 23 and 6, right? A little bit less points, efficient, a little bit more assists. He's going to do his thing, for sure. For sure. And then you still got Gary Trent Jr. He might drop 20 a game. I think he's going to have a great season. He's a slept-on shooter, natural scorer, son of a former NBA player. Gary Trent used to play with the Sacramento Kings. Used to be a big bruiser, right? Gary Trent, two-way player, excellent, whatever. So you got OG Anunoby, who's going to be looking to prove he deserves a max contract potentially. I don't think so. But he's going to have a jump in terms of his offensive production and responsibility. They got good size inside, a bunch of long, athletic players, great system, good coaching, an amazing GM in Masai Ujiri, who always seems to be ahead of the curve. Always seems to be ahead of the curve. This is what we need to do next. And he gets it done. Has his team competitive and ready to win every year. So shout out to the Toronto Raptors. But likely play it. And I only say that because I don't know if they have the stars to go at teams like the 76ers, the Miami Heat, the Atlanta Hawks, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Brooklyn Nets, the Boston Celtics. Who's going to be those late game closers? Who's going to be those guys when the other team stars getting off goes, I got it. I got it. Give me the ball. Watch out. We're going toe to toe. You get a bucket, I get a bucket. We're not falling behind. I don't know if they got that guy. And it might be Pascal Siakam, but remember, he's not coming back until later in the season. So depending upon their schedule, I haven't checked it yet, but depending upon that schedule, we might see Toronto slip a little early on, though I think their defense should be enough to keep them in it. But hey, that's my video. for the Eastern Conference playoffs next season for the NBA, your favorite team that might just be on the outside looking in. With that, this is Ross with The Rock Never Stops. With another episode, please like, subscribe, throw some comments down there. I do this for fun, honestly. Got a full-time job. I'm good, but I love talking NBA, and I love hearing from other people about what you think. And so tell me what you think. You got any video suggestions? I'm doing another series you could check out. My favorite thing about your favorite NBA team. I'll be working my way up. So check out those videos, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll holla at you. Peace.